Hello, hello, guys. We are back at day 2. We are making our giant floppy cat here. So far, yesterday, we made the head. Okay, so you'll see, I'm making a different color this time. I've changed the nose. So if you remember yesterday, you guys, I picked this same pink color and it just was too light. I mean, you can't hardly see it. There's even a little bit sticking out here. And I just wasn't a fan. So I went ahead and just used acrylic yarn, the same yarn we used for the mouth, and went ahead and just made this triangular shaped nose. It's still giving me bunny vibes, which, if you guys wanted to just make adjustments, you can always make a floppy bunny. Why not, just make some long ears and little puffy tail. Anyway, but we're going to keep working on our kitty cat today. And today I thought what we'll do is, and we'll see how the time goes. We've got an hour together here. So we'll go ahead and we will make the ears. Okay, so we'll try to make both ears, and then hopefully we can make the tail. And then we'll see where we're at that point. Maybe we can make a leg, but tomorrow our goal is going to be finish the legs and assemble. So hopefully we can get this done by tomorrow. And yeah, I'm very, very excited. Good morning, Maureen. How are you? Thanks for tuning in for part 2. So we'll probably just give people a little bit more time here just to join in before really getting started. I hope you guys have had a good rest of your day yesterday and, on to day 2. So I've been running around this morning, just not only grabbing my coffee, of course, but also had to take the kids to the dentist. So that was never fun, and I still am wondering why, even at this stage in the game, they still take x-rays the way that they do. Like, how can people keep that in their mouth, And my son had a really hard time, so it was one of those mornings. But good morning, Simply Made. How are you, Bailey? Oh, Arts and Anthropods is back in the house. Hello, hello. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in on day 2. I'm excited. So if you guys are making your floppy cats with me, what colors did you pick? Did you pick some blanket yarn or acrylic yarn? Let me know in the chat. So probably just wait another minute or two and then we'll be diving right on in. And getting started. So yeah, I was starting to feel a pain actually in my wrist. Good morning, Froggy. How are you? I've been having a pain in my wrist, so I'm like, no, you have to hold out. We have to get our cat made. We can't be stopping crocheting. I mean, come on now. So I'm going to plug my way through, but I'll just try to be mindful of it and try not to twist my wrists too much. Normally if you feel a pain, you should probably take a break from whatever's causing it. But, no rest for the weary around here. We've got our floppy cat to make. So, yeah. So like I say, we'll start. We're going to hopefully get these ears done today. Oh, did you get your face on your kitty, Maureen? Yes, perfect. She's ready for her ears. Okay, so she's named her kitty. Her kitty's name is Aurora, sassy little thing. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, I know Maureen was going to do some embroidered eyes, so that'll be really great. With safety eyes, the suggestion is that it's going to be for ages 3 and up. So if you're going to make it for a littler one, then you definitely don't want to do safety eyes. You'll want to do some sort of an embroidered eye. You could even make an eye out of acrylic yarn. You could do it that way too. Even just a simple not safety eye, you guys. Even just a simple magic ring would be cute. You could even do little white markings for like little glisten marks, and that would be perfect. So all right, so I think, we're 5 after the hour, so I think we should just go ahead and dive on in, and we'll be making 2 ears. So, if anyone tunes in a little later, we can always, you'll still get the idea. We're making 2, right? All right, let me make sure I'm pulling from the right end. Here we go. Set my little head over here to watch as we make its ears. All right, so I've got this is my 7mm hook that I'm going to be using. I'm going to go ahead and pop myself down into the corner here so you can see what I'm doing better. Okay. So with the ears, we're going to start with a magic ring again, and we're going to be doing yeah, let's rock this. That's right, Maureen. We're going to start with a magic ring. We're going to do 4 single crochets into a magic ring together. Okay, so I'm going to make my little pistol shape like I do, and I'm holding the back with my 2 fingers here. I wrap it around once and twice, holding it with my thumb, going under that tail up and over my working yarn and pulling it forward to make my A. Now I slip my little fingers out there, but I'm still holding my ring. I'm going to yarn over here and pull through. So I'm doing my slip stitch to connect basically, or yeah, slip stitch. And then so now your ring is separated. Now we're going to do 4 single crochets into that ring. So we're diving on in, yarning over from the back, pull forward, yarn over and pull through. There's 1. And then there's 2, diving in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. And one more time. And so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets in a magic ring. So now we're going to gently pull this until our ring closes, just like that. So you should have 4 single crochets. We're going to place our stitch marker to begin round 2. Simply Made's not making the cat, but you're watching the channel. Aw. See, we're just hanging out while we crochet. I like it. All right, so we're going to start round 2. And round 2 is just as before and on many amigurumis, it's the build-up, right? So instead of an increase, because we want that triangular shape, we're going to jump past that and we're going to go straight to a single crochet and then an increase, okay? So we're just going to do that 2 times, that pattern, and then it'll get us around. So we're going in underneath those 2 loops, yarning over, pull forward, yarn over, and pull through. That's 1 single crochet. Now we're going to increase in the next one. So we're going to do 2 in the 1. Okay, so we're going in, yarning over, yarn over again, and pull through. Okay, so there's 1 increase. Now we're going to do another single crochet into the next. And then, how did I end? Hang on, you guys, bear with. I'm frogging. Froggy, I'm already frogging. No. Do I use hooks with the grippy handle that helps you with wrist pain? You know what? I probably should. So I do have some like this. This is what you're talking about, I think, right? Yeah, I do have some with the grippy handle. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I must have just gone into the wrong space here. I don't know what it was, but let me catch up, you guys. Hang on. Okay. Don't go too far ahead. So I'm just, again, doing the single crochet and then an increase all the way around. Somehow I ended up, yeah, now it's fine. I don't know where I went, but I obviously went into the wrong space. This is what you get with live, right? I mean, I'm going to make mistakes too. This is how we, how the game rolls here. All right, so I've just finished my round 2. And round 3, we're also going to be doing kind of the same thing, okay? So we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase, and that's just the pattern. So let's go diving into the next one, single crochet, and then next one, that we're doing our another single crochet in the next there, and now we're going to do our increase. So 2 in the 1, 2 in the 1, and now we're going to do that pattern again. So single crochet in the next, then single crochet in the next, and an increase. Okay, boop, here we go. Now place your stitch marker, move it on up. Hi Moonrose Crafts, how are you? If you're making the kitty cat, we just finished round 3. So round 1 was 4 single crochets in a magic ring. Then we did our single crochet and an increase around. And we just finished up our 2 single crochets and an increase around. So we are making a triangular shape. And what we're going to be doing here is we're just going to be flattening it to give it that sort of flattened triangular ear shape once we're done. But we have 2 more rows to do before that happens. So round 4 is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase, okay? So we're just building it up. That's all we're doing. The ears are nice and easy. So we're doing 1, 1, 1, and then 2, right? And then just follow that around. Nice and easy. So there's 1, 1, 1 and my 2. There's my increase. All right, and that's that on that row. How's everybody doing? Following along right alongside me here? I'm just going to trim this other little end from the inside here so it's not in my way. Okay, and then round 5. This is the last round for this year, and then we got to make it again, okay? So we're going to do 4 single crochets and then an increase. So we're doing, here's 1. Now we're going to the next one. There's 2. In the next one, there's 3. In the next one, there's 4. And then we're going to do our increase. Oh, you're working on a top, Moonrose Crafts. Awesome. Is this for you? So now we're going to do that pattern again. There's the 1. Here's the second one. Here's the 3rd single crochet. Here's the 4th single crochet. Give myself a little more slack here. And then I'm going to do my last increase. Okay, now we can take out our stitchy marker. We're just going to slip stitch into the next. So we're going in, pulling, yarning over, pulling that loop through, and then just pull it through the loop on your hook. So that's a slip stitch. Pull it out your crochet hook to make a loop. Grab your scissors and give yourself a tail, okay? Because you're going to need this tail to whip stitch the ear down to the head later on. So making your loop open, pull that tail through and gently pull to connect and fasten off. And there's your first little ear. How cute is that? So see, when we're gonna stitch it on, it's gonna make him look like a cat. Cute. All right, you guys, let's do it again, all right? Let's repeat, rinse and repeat. So grab your tail again. Oh, Mr. Rose and me. Oh, very cool. That's cool that you can do a top that you guys can both wear. Like, I'm sure his is bigger and, you know, fits him more, but like his body shape. But you'll be matching. All right, so we're going to start again. So ear number 2, round 1. We're going to do 4 single crochets in a magic ring, making my pistol, wrapping it twice. Going under the first, over the second, pulling my little A up, slipping out my finger, yarn over and pull through just to get that ring going here. And now I'm going to do my 4 single crochets diving on into that ring. And then we will gently pull it so that our ring closes. There we go. There, it's perfect. Now we can place our stitch marker. Trying to chuck it over here. Ooh, Simply Made, you're going to design a plushie pattern today. What are you trying to make? All right, so round 2, we are doing single crochet, then an increase, and we're going to do that pattern twice. So here's our single crochet. No matching pairs. I have a friend who likes to make, she likes to make matching PJs for her and her husband, but she sews. Okay, so we did a single crochet. Now we're going to do an increase, and then we're going to do another single crochet, and then another increase. Okay. And then I'm going to move my stitch marker so we can start the next round, round 3. We're just doing 2 single crochets and an increase. So here's single crochet, and an increase. Oops. Here we go. And single crochet, and an increase. Oh, I think I saw, yeah, I had seen that you were doing that, Bailey. I saw that on your channel. You're making a replica of the guacamole squishmallow. I keep seeing people take squishmallows and they sort of cut them in half, I guess, and then they'll use the fronts for different things. Like somebody made a bag and stitched them together with crochet, and then somebody made tops for some of the bigger squishmallows. Pretty creative, I would say. So, all right, so now we're going to start the next round. We're going to be doing round, let's see, we're doing round 4. So we're going to do 3 single crochets and an increase. So single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and an increase. Then we're going to do that again. So we're doing another 3 single crochets and then an increase. Apologies if you hear a licking sound. I have Merlin, my black tuxedo cat, next to me, and he's cleaning himself. Merlin, stop. All right. So there is the next round. So our last round for this ear, round 5, we're going to do 4 single crochets and an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase. And then take your stitch marker off, slip stitch in the next, and then we're just finishing this off, leaving a tail again, because we're going to need that. Gently pull, and there's your second ear. There we go. So we've got 2 matching ears. Moonrose says cookie yarn is for me. Anvy yarn. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, a cake for Mr. Rose. Very cool. All right, so we got our 2 ears. So you could leave it this way, or if you want to follow along, I'm going to go ahead and make these little flat pieces here with some acrylic yarn and a 3.5 millimeter hook. So I'm going to do that really quickly. They don't take long to do. And depending on if you're using blanket yarn or if you're using acrylic yarn, then this number will change for you. So how much you chain is going to change depending on how big your ears came out, okay? So how we're going to do this is you're going to go ahead and just make a slip knot on your hook, okay? So wrapping it around, tuck the tail in through that ring, and then just holding the tail and the working yarn, pull that loop up, okay? And then so you have your slip knot on your hook. So now we're going to chain, and I believe we just need to do about 5. So let's start with 5 chain, and then we will hold it up next to the ear. If you're doing acrylic yarn, this number is going to be less for you. So you basically want this to start in envisioning it where it's going to be going here. You want to see the outside edges. So you just want it to fill that space. So if your ear is littler, obviously you're going to need less chains. So just keep that in mind. You might need 3 chains. You might need 4 chains. Just keep that in mind, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to hold this up next to my piece here. And remember, you usually don't work into that first chain, you work into the second chain from the hook. So I'm actually going to chain 1 more for mine. I'm going to chain 6 total, okay? So I'm doing 1 more, which is going to give me 5 stitches, right? Because we're going to now dive into the second chain from the hook, and we're going to single crochet back across our chain, all right? So here's the first loop, or our first chain next to our hook. You're going to go into that second chain there, okay? Can you see that? So not the first one, into the second one, diving into the V in the middle, through the back, yarn over, pull forward a loop, yarn over, and pull through. That's 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook. Now do the same into the next chain, just a single crochet. Now into the next single crochet, going in through the V to the back, yarning over, pull forward, yarn over, and pull through. You can't figure out a flat circle with blanket yarn? All you got to do is just start with, usually it's 6 single crochets into a magic ring, then you increase all the way around, and then you just do like single crochet, increase, Then the next one would be 2 single crochets and an increase, and then 3 single crochets until you get it, that circle, that flat circle, how you want it. So, oh, sorry you have to go, Simply Made. I'm glad that you could come in, Bailey. We'll see you next time, okay? Okay, so we've done our first row here. For me, I have 5 stitches, so whatever it is for you, just, you know, keep it that way. But you'll notice as you hold it up that it should fill that bottom space because we're going to be making the point. So we want it to go upwards from here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. Now we're on the other side. We're going to do a decrease. Okay, so we're going to go into that first, both loops, underneath both loops, yarn over, pull forward, go into the next one, yarning over from the back, pulling forward. Okay, you've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and just pull through all those loops. You just decreased 2 down into 1 stitch for the next row, okay? Now just single crochet across as usual. So this for me is going to be it should be 1 stitch less than the last row. So instead of 5, I now have 4 because I decreased that 1. Okay. So now I've got 4. Now I'm going to do another chain 1 and turn. I'm going to start again with a decrease. We're just going to keep doing the same pattern until we are down to our end of our point here. Now I'm just single crocheting the other ones. So at the end of this one, I've got 3 stitches for mine. Chain 1, turn, decrease again. Okay, so going under those 2, make sure you get that whole stitch because we, in the invisible decrease we did yesterday, you work in the front loops only. We're not doing that on this one because we're turning our work constantly, and so we don't want to leave any loops behind, so we're just doing a regular decrease, and that's the time where I normally will use a decrease. Even if I prefer an invisible decrease, this is the time where I would use a decrease. Okay, so I just have 2 stitches left, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn and just do 1 more decrease, and that will finish off the triangle. Okay, see, so that made a little triangle. So if you hold it up with your ear, it's going to be the inner ear, and we're just going to whip stitch that down, okay? And we'll do that in just a moment, but let's go ahead and make another one. So I'm going to cut the tail here, and I'm going to hold my loop, pull the tail through, and tighten. So there's 1 triangle. Whatever you did on the first one, however many chains you started with, make sure you do the same for the second one, okay? Because you want them to be exactly the same size. That way you don't have some one side tiny and one side giant or something. All right, so I'm going to start again with my slip knot on my hook. And I'm starting with 6 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And another way you can do these, when I was making the ones out of the thinner yarn, so out of the acrylic yarn, is with felt. So you can actually just cut triangles out of felt as well, and you can sew those down and do just whip stitching around. So that's another option. It's an easier option. I don't think for mine with the blanket yarn it doesn't work as well. So that's why I'm going to make them out of acrylic. Okay, so we've done 6 chain. We're going to go into the second chain from the hook, and we're just doing single crochets all the way across our chain. So I'll end up with 5 at the end of mine. Then I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. Okay, decrease. Always start with the decrease. Okay, so we're going under the first 2 here, and now I'm going to pull through all those loops. Then we're going to go into the rest just as single crocheting across. Make sure you get them both, and mine is trying to be difficult, of course. All right, I got it. Chain 1 and turn. And then go ahead and do another decrease. Single crochet across. And then chain 1 and turn. And just keep doing that same thing up until you've got your point made on your ear. Okay, so I've got 1 more, chain 1 and turn, and a decrease. Nice and easy. Okay, pull the loop out, clip away your yarn, and tie it off, okay? So now we've got our inner ears and our outer ears. So what we need to do now is sew down the inner ear to the outer ears for both of them, okay? So let's get our yarn needles. Let me move this guy out of the way here. All right, where's my yarn needle hiding? Find your yarn needles while I find mine. I just had it, and they like to run away from me sometimes, so hang on a minute. They're always at the bottom of a bag, right? Is there gonna be one? Oh my goodness, guys. All right, bear with. I'm grabbing myself a yarn needle. I know I'll have one at one of these bags. I just had my yarn needle, but where it went, they like to run away sometimes. So apologies that I am having to dig. My gosh, you guys. What's a person got to do to get a yarn needle around here, huh? All right, let me grab, here we go. We've got a whole plethora in here, so we're good. Haha. Okay, problem solved. All right, so I'm going to grab my tail here and thread my needle. And I'm going to hold it up. So where you did your increases on the ear on both sides, right? Because you did that pattern twice. Make those go on the edges. And that way the increasers are all along the outside edge of the ear. So now we're going to go ahead and lay our ear on top. Okay. And just, you can hold it with your thumb. You could put one finger into the ear and hold it with your thumb, and that way it stays in place. But we're going to go down into the ear, coming out somewhere else. So that's going to connect the top. Hang on, I just want to make sure I'm in the frame here, you guys. All right. So what we're doing is we're whip stitching, okay? So now I'm going to go down, back down into the ear, coming up onto the next row. And then I'm going to come up through the ear, all right? So that way it's connecting the two together. So going back down into your piece, coming up on the next row, coming back up through your pink inner ear, and then pull. So this is just whip stitching these two pieces together, all right? Hang on, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go back down. Keep in mind, you wanna leave your braid that we're gonna be connecting to the head later. So leave that unworked, okay? We're kind of going in the space above that, above the little braid there. So now I'm going to come out next door, okay? So I'm in this space, I'm coming out next door, and I'm going to go back up through the pink inner ear, and we're just going across now on the next side. Make sure you catch your ear here. All right. And do that one more time. That should tack that side down. Grab the pink. Okay, now we just have one more side. So we're going back down, coming up, now jumping the row and going back up through the pink. And we're just sewing it down. Nice and easy. Here we go. And then we are almost done. All right, I'm gonna do one more on the top. Oops, hang on. Here we go. Get myself a little slack here. Okay, I'm gonna do one more here at the top, and then I'm gonna go ahead and bring the yarn onto the inside of my ear. And then let's go ahead and take this other tail, thread it onto your needle, and just go back down into the space where it's coming from, right? So right next to it, bring that into the inner side of the ear. And then you can just tie these two together on the inside, okay? So you'll just tie a few knots to secure these on the inside so they're not going anywhere. And then that's that. So we got to do the same thing on the other ear. and make sure we've got both of the inner ears fastened, and then we will continue on with our crochet. So let me trim that. Okay, and now I'm going to set this one aside. So we've done one ear. Let's grab our other ear. And we're going to go ahead and thread our needle. How's it going, guys? Let me know in the chat. Okay, so on the other ear, so I tend to just keep the tail in the front, and then I'm going to go ahead and just lay it down like I did the last one. And we're just going back down into the ear, up in the next row, back up through the pink, inner ear, coming up through for the next one, whip stitching this guy down. Here we go. Nice and easy. Okay, now I'm switching to the next side, just along this front edge here. Okay. Going down, coming out in the next stitch, coming back up through the inner ear. Doing the same to get that corner down. Okay. And now we're going to work back up the third side of this triangle and finish this part off here. Whoops. It's jumping out of my hands. Okay. Coming up again. Almost there. Going to do one more in that top part of the triangle. Hi, Dan. How's it going? We're stitching down some inner ears here. Okay, so I finished stitching it down. I'm going to let that tail go. I'm going to tuck this one into the inside so we can tie them off. And then we can keep on crocheting. Okay, let me know if I'm going too fast or if you guys have caught up. And then I think the next part we're going to do here is we will do the tail. We'll check on the time, and then if we have time, we can go ahead and start on the feet or the legs. All right, so I'm just tying a few knots here just to make sure that the two ends are secure on the inside. I'm going to trim away this excess. Okay, done. So now we've got our two inner ears. And I'm not going to attach them yet because I want to wait to do the full assembly till tomorrow. That way, if there's anybody who needs to catch up, they have time to do that before we finalize our pieces. But you can kind of hold them up and see what it's going to look like. Oh, it's going to be so cute. Okay. So that's done. So let me know in the chat, you guys. Just take a second. Let me know that you are ready to continue crocheting. I will get the pattern ready here so I can see what we're doing. Take a little sip of my coffee. I talk so much sometimes it's like totally watered down by the time I get to it. Is everybody ready to keep going? So I am officially done with my smaller hook, so I'm just going to grab my bigger hook. Dripping water. All right. So we're going to go ahead and keep going. So I'm going to do the tail next. We're going to start again with our magic ring. So making my pistol shape here. I'm going to go around the back once and twice, holding it with my thumb. Going under the first. Let's go, Maureen says. Yay. All right, you're caught up. Good. All right, we're going to pull it forward, making our A. Pull out your finger, but hold on to your ring. Yarn over, pull through. Now it's secure. All right, now we're going to do 4 single crochets into the magic ring. So go ahead and do 4 single crochets, and then you can go ahead and pull gently on the tail until your ring is closed, as so. All right, then place your stitch marker. Maybe. There we go. Place your stitch marker. All right. next row, we're going to do single crochet and then an increase 2 times around, okay? So you should end up with 6 stitches at the end of this one. So we're going to do our single crochet, maybe, and an increase. 1, 2, and another single crochet and an increase. Oops. Oh, come on now. Work with me here. All right, there we go. Okay, and then we're going to replace our stitch marker. Okay, now all we're going to do, single crochet around until the tail is the length that you want it to be. So on mine, I did 14 rounds. So you can hold it up and decide how you want it to be. If you want it to have a curl to it, maybe you want it longer, just add more single crochet around rounds. But otherwise, we're just going to single crochet and just keep on going until our tail is as long as we want it to be. So nice and easy. When I did the tail on the orange one, I did do a little curl in it and I stitched it down so that it curled. So that's an option, or you can have it straight up if you want, or however, you know, you can make an S shape, however you want it to look, but you'll just need to kind of hold it up and eyeball it when you're done on your head of your little cat and see what you need to do and if it's needs to be longer or shorter. Oops. It's supposed to be raining here today in Washington. I have not seen it rain yet, but it is darker, so that's why I threw my light on in the room because I thought it was too dark. We're not getting enough natural light, you guys. But I'm all excited for fall. I've got my new pumpkin shirt on today. I've been drinking my pumpkin spice lattes in the morning. Is anybody else into pumpkin spice lattes, or is it just me? I'm one of those people. I'll get the pumpkin cream cold brew at Starbucks too. That's delightful. One of my favorites. All right, so this is just continuing on. Oh, come on. Look at my, it doesn't want to let me go. It's going to do some yarn barf on me, think. Yep, here it comes. Yarn barf time. That or it's going to break. Oh my gosh, look at that. This is what you call yarn barf, guys. Why? So one thing I'm going to do really quick on mine, you can do this or you don't have to. This is just sometimes when you're doing the magic ring, it kind of leaves a little bump on where it closed up. So what I like to do with the tail is just tack it back down onto the inside, just like that. So it's not as noticeable. And then I just tie it off on the inside. So it happens sometimes. Doesn't happen on all of them, but it does happen on some of them. So, okay. So I'm just tying that off for a minute here. Okay, now I'm just going to keep building up my tail. One thing you also can do, you guys, I did this in the small one because of the tail, you know, it's structured differently when it's blanket yarn versus if it's like an acrylic yarn something. Oh, Maureen's got pumpkin spice creamer in her coffee. Go, Maureen. So anyway, you can actually put wiring in the tail. So that's a possibility. So if you put wiring in the tail, you could do pipe cleaner. You could do, I often get a black 12 gauge jewelry wire. You can do that, and that would help you shape the tail how you'd like it to be. So that's another option for you, but that would definitely not be for kids under 3. So if you're making this for little ones, don't put the wire in. And I didn't on this blanket yarn one. I just went ahead and used my stitches to tack the tail down in the shape that I wanted. So just additional options. I gotta try the pumpkin spice creamer. I wonder if that would be good. There's a company, I don't remember the name of the company, but it's got a skull. It's like a black box and it has orange on it and it's got a skull, and they have Keurigs. And it was a pumpkin spice coffee chai. It was delightful. So I made that into a latte. It kind of tasted a lot like the pumpkin spice K-Cups that I have, except for it was a little bit, had more spice to it, which was good. So, gotta love coffee. All right, let's see if I can work with this yarn barf here. Give me more slack. I hope your yarns are working with you more than mine. I tend not to even count. I count the rows later. You can use different things to count while you're going. You can use tick marks on a piece of paper, or a lot of people use poppets, and they kind of just pop different pops. I don't know, what do you call them? The little bubbles. You pop those in the rows that you have just to keep track of how many you have. Or at the end, you can just kind of gauge based on the size and then just count up the rows. Oh no, this 0 calorie, 0 sugar version is really gross, huh? So you got the full strength. I bet that tastes really good. Yeah, there's something in the sugar-free, and I think it's called xanthan gum, that does upset my tummy. So I can't really do the sugar-free creamers. All right, so is everybody done with their tail already? Did you beat me? You probably did. All right, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I just have a couple more rows, and then my tail is done. We'll probably have enough time, I would think. I think we'll have enough time to do one leg for today, and then we'll probably finish up the other legs tomorrow, and then we will work on assembling. So 3 days, and then this little guy's done. Yay. If there is a character that I have up already that you really like and you'd like to see me do another live crochet along, let me know. I will I'll look into it and see if it's feasible, and then maybe we can do another one. This has been fun. I'm enjoying doing this with you guys. Okay, let me just count one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, I'm going to hold this up to my kitty cat and decide, yeah, I think that's a good size for my tail. So when you're done and you get to that point and your tail is as you want it, slip stitch in the next and pull your loop up and clip it away, giving yourself a tail to connect, and then just pull that. I do not usually stuff. Oh, hey Jet, how's it going? Or should I call it Jet or Jettin? Nice to see you. I don't normally stuff the tails. You can put a little stuffing in them if you want, but I usually don't. So up to you guys on that one. Again, you could stuff them, you could put wiring in them, or you can just tack them down in the shape that you want. But we'll do the tacking down tomorrow